Let's go back to the big breaking news. In fact, earlier, this tragic incident taking place. A white tiger has mauled a young man to death in the Delhi Zoo. Jugal Purohit, our correspondent, joining us on the phone line with more. Jugal, how exactly did this incident take place? Jugal, if you can hear me. Now, reports are in fact coming in that the youth slipped and fell in the enclosure, and that's when the white tiger in fact attacked him and has mauled this man to death. These are these exclusive visuals coming in on headlines today. The victim has in fact succumbed to injuries after this brutal attack in the Delhi Zoo by a white tiger. We don't really have much information right now, but this is what we're trying to get you. In Delhi Zoo, a white tiger has in fact killed this youth. The victim succumbed to his injuries after he slipped and fell into the enclosure of the white tiger. These latest visuals in fact coming in from the Delhi Zoo. As you can see on your screens, this youth has in fact died of injuries after this brutal attack. Reports in fact emerging that he climbed over the enclosure and slipped and fell into the white tiger enclosure. Upasana, our correspondent, joining us on the phone line with more. Upasana, how exactly did this incident take place?
Basically, first have to understand that there's a lot of difference between the cage and the place where the visitors are allowed. So there's a huge margin, and the chances of the tiger grabbing the victim is approximately 0%. So as per the sources, the man, he was climbing the fence. He was probably trying to take a photograph, and he slipped into the area, which was very easily accessible for the tiger to come and grab the victim, which finally, who finally succumbed to injuries. And but the sad part is that white tiger and all these cages, they do not have any security guards even to ensure that the tourist or any visitor who's coming up to the zoo should not take a step by wherein he can lose his life, because the reason why he tried to jump from the fence or why he even tried to enter the premises is a big question. But till then there was nobody to keep an eye on them, nobody to stop them, and this is when we have visitors coming in thousands and lakhs every day to Delhi Zoo. So now who exactly this visitor was and who exactly is identification is not yet confirmed, but as per the sources, he was trying to climb the fence and he suddenly fell into the area, and then the white tiger came and attacked him.
Well, this is really in fact chilling, these pictures that we're seeing on our screens, Upasana. But are you trying to say that when this man fell in, there was nothing, no security to sort of pull this man out that had fallen in?
Yes, see, I have been covering Delhi Zoo for the past 3-4 years, and this is one question which we have already been raising in the past also, that there are hardly any security guards that are employed inside the Delhi Zoo. There's only 2 or 3 security guards at the main gate and 2 or 3 security guards at the exit gate. And every cage they have 1 or 2 guards which are supposed to be there, but there was no security guard available. And we have to also notice that Delhi Zoo is a place where even children, school groups, college troops, they all come for a visit every day. So in that case, there's a big question on the security labs of Delhi Zoo, and I think even the government has to take a strong action, because this is the capital in which such an incident is happening, which has killed a person's life today and put at risk millions of people who are visiting Delhi Zoo every day.
Right, Upasana, thank you for bringing us that update. Stay with us. Let me quickly cut across to Shiv Arur, who's also joining us from the newsroom with more on the story. Shiv, the reports are in fact coming in claiming that the barricade of the tiger enclosure was low and that the animal in fact got out and killed the student after he fell into it.
That is correct. As Upasana was just pointing out, there are usually enough security mechanisms in place in this particular tiger enclosure. I've seen it personally myself several times, Sanjana. There is a deep moat, a kind of pit that surrounds the entire area. It's a landscaped area in which the white tiger family is actually enclosed in the Delhi Zoo. Now, an unfortunate and tragic sequence of events is likely to have followed, with this boy either slipping and falling into that moat. Now remember, if a person slips and falls into that pit, it's easy for a tiger to actually access that area. That moat is basically built so that the tiger can't get out of that particular enclosure. Now if that has happened as these these extremely disturbing pictures show, and we'd like to caution our viewers that these are pictures that might be distressing. These are the disturbing images, and they're only here on Headlines Today, of the tiger with that unfortunate youth who slipped and fell into that moat, being attacked by the tiger. He was mauled. Remember that white tigers at the Delhi Zoo are kept in enclosures, specially built to make sure that they can't get out. Now, the simple fact is there is supposed to be zoo security in these areas, especially around dangerous animals, to make sure that people don't, try and climb fences, don't try and climb cages, don't try and tease the animals, because remember, any kinds of provocations can easily, lead to a situation of this kind. I have personally seen in the past in the tiger enclosures, in the jaguar enclosures, the leopard enclosures, where there are always Delhi Zoo security officials standing there to make climb the cages. In this particular incident, one of the questions that will have to be asked, following this absolutely dreadful tragedy is, where was zoo security? How was this boy allowed to get so close to that moat that he actually slipped and fell in and was, found himself in a position where he could actually, be attacked by the tiger itself? So, like Upasana was pointing out, scant information about the precise sequence of events and where precisely the attack actually took place, but very, very many questions at this point, Sanjana.
Right, Shiv, and also if we have more details, we understand more are emerging right now. Basically, as we have in fact understood, we've raised a very pertinent question of where the security was when this attack was in fact taking place. What happened? Was the security or somebody in fact able to even come and sort of pull this man out? Because we understand he succumbed to his injuries, which must have been very, very grievous.
I can hazard a guess, until we get more accurate information, which is really the need of the hour at this tragic moment, Sanjana, we can hazard a guess about, how long this entire sequence of events actually took. My guess would be that it wasn't very long. It was probably just a few bare minutes. Now, we must say right here that, tigers are sometimes painted as man-eaters. They're painted as ferocious. The simple fact is, animals don't attack unless they're provoked. Obviously, this animal felt provoked, it felt threatened, it felt aggrieved enough to actually attack this man, because it felt that it was encroaching on the animal's territory itself, posed some kind of a threat to it or its family, and therefore it probably attacked. Now, until we get more information about precisely what the behavioral past of this particular animal is concerned, we can't really tell whether the Delhi Zoo should have put more security in place in this particular enclosure.
Right, Shiva, just hold on. We have Abu Bhai, the forest tracker, joining us on the phone line with more. Sir, if you can just tell us, give us some more details on this incident.
नहीं आ रही थी इसलिए मैं बोल नहीं रहा था. बोलिए
जी बोलिए सर.
पूछो क्या पूछना है आपको.
जी, आप बता सकते हैं ये कैसे हुआ और वहाँ पे सिक्योरिटी मौजूद क्यों नहीं थी?
वो ऐसे जू में हुआ है ना वो.
जी सर, वो दिल्ली जू में.
उसमें क्या होता है मैडम कि जो नेचुरल हैबिटेट में जो एनिमल रहते हैं,
जी,
जो एनिमल नेचुरल हैबिटेट में रहते हैं, जो फॉरेस्ट के अंदर रहते हैं, उन एनिमलों को अगर केज में रखते हैं लोग चिड़ियाघर में ऐसे में, तो वो हद से ज्यादा अग्रेसिव हो ही जाते हैं ऐसे ही.
ठीक है सर, पर ये कैसे हो सकता है कंसिडरिंग वहाँ पे सिक्योरिटी नहीं थी? ये आदमी जो अंदर गिर गया एनक्लोजर में और उसके बाद ही सिक्योरिटी आके उसको
वो आदमी से गया क्यों अंदर, वो बात है ना
जी.
हाँ, तो वो उसने कुछ छेड़खानी की होगी, या तो उसने वो जो केज है वो क्रॉस करके अंदर गिरने की कोशिश की होगी, तो वो तो जिम्मेदारी जो सुपरिटेंडेंट जो होते हैं उसकी भी बनती है थोड़ी बहुत कि भाई ये लोग ऐसा ना करे, ऐसे छेड़छाड़ी ना करे, ये तो वाइल्ड एनिमल है, कुछ भी कर सकते हैं.
Right, Abu Bhai, forest tracker, thank you so much for speaking with Headlines today. Let me quickly go back to Shiv Arur. Shiv, the forest ranger over there raising a very, very pertinent question, saying that the man should not have climbed the enclosure in the first place. There are rules, there are guidelines that are put in place at the Delhi Zoo, and we understand that it is at a low level, but the man should have not done that either way.
Just for the sake of our viewers, Sanjana, I'd just like to describe what the Delhi Zoo is actually like. The Delhi Zoo is literally in the heart of the city. It's right next to Pragati Maidan. It falls in the shadow of the Purana Killa. So it couldn't be more central than anything else. It's right there in the middle of the city. It's a large, very spread out zoological park, very woody, very green, lots of trees, lots of bushes, lots of places to hide, that sort of thing. But what I can tell you is that the Delhi Zoo has always had quite an adequate level of security. I make it a point to go to the Delhi Zoo at least once every year. There's always security at the dangerous animal enclosures. I've personally seen people trying to either feed animals or get a little closer, try and, gesture to animals. And there are always security officials usually standing there, minding people, warning them not to do that. There are rules and regulations written everywhere. Obviously, people will always try and do something else. Now, we're not suggesting for a moment that this person who's lost his life so tragically in this.
Let me quickly cut across to our correspondent Upasana, who's joining us in the studios now. Upasana, a very, very chilling tale of actually how this entire thing took place. The man was up in the enclosure, he slipped and fell, as the eyewitness is telling us. He was grabbed by the neck and then taken over, circled many times before the tiger, actually attacked him.
See, basically, if you've ever been to Delhi Zoo, there's a margin of 500 meters between the place where the visitors are allowed and the cage of the tiger. This incident happened somewhere around the noon time. From 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. is the lunch time, when all the animals, one by one, they're taken to the cage and they're given their lunch. So at a time, there's only one tiger which is left open in the open space. Otherwise, there are 3 to 4 white tigers. Now, what I think is, as far as my experience is concerned, because it's been almost 5 years that I've been going to Delhi Zoo regularly, there are 3-4 big lapses here which we really need to point out. A, there is a fencing and there is a space which should contain water, because if you go to any other zoo, and especially if we talk about international zoo, so that space needs to have water. There is no water in that space, as in if a man falls into that pit, any animal can attack the man anytime. Second, we talk about the security lab. See, Delhi Zoo is a place where every day thousands of school children are taken for picnics, college trips, and in that case, if there is no security guard present at the point of the cage, and we are an eyewitness for this because we've been regularly visiting the zoo, so there is no guard which actually can stop people from doing such an act. See, we have to understand that Delhi Zoo has visitors all across the section of the society. So what if any person who's visiting zoo is not well educated to read the warning signs? So in that case, there has to be someone to stop him.
Right.
So this is, well, I'm very shocked that this has happened in a place like Delhi, where the capital, right?
Absolutely.
Well, right.
So, but as we did in fact speak with the forest ranger, Shiv and Upasana, the security labs, while we understand there should be a guard and all of that, but it's also the people that attend the zoo should also have a sense of responsibility, where they shouldn't be climbing over these enclosures and they shouldn't be breaking rules.
Of course, see, this is, I think here we can say that it is 80% the man's fault and 20% the zoo's fault, because he's I think somewhere around mid-age, so he should have this intelligence of not climbing up the fence and doing such an act. But then at the same hand, we have to understand that just in case, see, we don't know what the exact situation was, right? Why he jumped into the fence or he dropped into the fence by chance. So in that case, I think we have to point out the security labs of the zoo also.
Right, Shiv Arur still with us. Shiv, we understand that we in fact tried to contact the Delhi Zoo, but they've refused to speak with the media.
For the moment, Sanjana, because apparently there's, as you can imagine, there's a lot of police work going on there. We've got 2 reporters on the ground, including Upasana. They're getting us the very latest details on what's precisely happening. As you can expect, there's a lot of security there at this point of time. The zoo has been completely evacuated. There are no people left inside there. The soundbite we just heard was from a short while ago, but the police has taken over completely. They're conducting, a security sweep of that particular area. We do have confirmation that the tiger enclosure has been completely secured. Now, we don't know for sure whether the tiger has been put into a cage, whether they've been able to tranquilize it, or precisely what follow-up action they've taken. But we do know that the zoo itself is secure at this point of time. Now, as far as security is concerned, as far as the precise sequence of events is concerned, I would be much more careful about how we actually construct the sequence of events, Sanjana, because we still don't know precisely, whether this boy actually slipped himself or whether the tiger jumped over a low barricade. There are lots of conflicting versions actually coming out at this stage, including by eyewitnesses, where we're getting several different pieces of information.
Absolutely.
What we do know for a fact is that this used to be a secure location, but obviously a combination of extremely unfortunate and tragic events, probably on the part of the young man, as well as the construction of the enclosure itself, has led to this tragedy.
Shiv and Upasana, just hold on. I'm just going to get Ajay Suri, a wildlife expert, to also weigh in on this. Upasana, you had a question that you wanted to raise. Do you want to go ahead?
Yes, the pictures that we can see right now, this is the place which should contain water.
Okay.
Because this is the security, this is the area, this is the 500 meters. I told earlier also that there's a 500 meters area which is left for the security purpose,
right,
out of which 100 meters needs to be water. So this is one question.
So Ajay Suri, would you like to weigh in on that, considering that this is a serious lapse, as our correspondent has been raising, that this area between the enclosure and the actual cage actually should have water but did not have that?
Well, that's one aspect of the whole thing. You're right. It can be taken as a lapse, but on the other hand, most of the people who go to the zoo, they don't realize that a tiger, at the end of the day, it's still a wild animal. Just because it's in a zoo, it's not a tame animal, it's not a domesticated animal. I remember about 2 decades ago, a similar incident had happened in Delhi Zoo when a small boy, he had put in his arm inside the tiger's enclosure, and the tiger had taken off his arm. So these things have been happening in Delhi Zoo. This is of course it's very, very unfortunate.
Right, sir. But the thing is, what do you feel about, in the sense of not even being any security? Because while it was irresponsible for this person to climb up and climb up this enclosure, but as the Delhi Zoo, the administration, the authorities, should they also not ensure that there is security in place?
Well, of course, not only that, they also have to be ready to face such eventualities. If a man falls in the enclosure, then they should have a rapid response system or a team in place where, these guys can act fast and try to save the man. I don't know whether in this particular case, the zoo officials or the security people, armed security people, reached the spot in time or not.
Absolutely, Ajay Suri, wildlife expert. Thank you so much for speaking with Headlines today. Upasana, if you can actually just give us some more details. Do we know who this victim is? Was he part of a school group, or what is it?
The information that we've got is only from the PRO, of course, which is now who's not attending our calls anymore, because I don't know whether he's tied up with the police investigation and everything. But when we spoke to the PRO over the phone, he told us that as for it's in his knowledge, he had come alone to the zoo, so there was no company with him. And as per the sources, the eyewitness, he wanted to take a photograph of the tiger, and that is the reason why he climbed up the fence. But after that, what happened? The picture is not yet clear, and we are also waiting for the police investigation to get over so that we know who exactly this visitor was.
Right, and as per the eyewitness, Upasana, it was that this man was picked up by his neck and then taken to the other side, where they could actually not really see. Beyond the point, they couldn't really see what happened to this man.
Yes, because see, since I told earlier also that there are 3 to 4 white tigers and there's a huge area. So one white tiger is placed on one area, the other tiger is placed on the other area. But since I am shocked, because this was the lunch time, and at least at the lunch time there are a lot of employees from the Delhi Zoo who are employed outside each and every cage.
देख के उसे निकले थे वहाँ से, तो जो शख्स था वो वहाँ पे आया और एकदम से वो रोलर के अंदर जाके और वो उस पर चढ़ गया. एकदम से पता नहीं क्या हुआ, उसका पैर फिसल गया. पैर फिसलते ही वो नीचे गिर गया. वो एकदम से आवाज़ सुन के वो टाइगर आया उसके पास. टाइगर के आगे उसने हाथ जोड़ लिए सर. वो टाइगर चुप रहा, मतलब अपना पंजा उस पर चलाता रहा. उसके बाद हम जितने भी भीड़ जमा हो गई थी वहाँ पे, तो सर उसके बाद वो ना कुछ देर बाद उसको उठा के थोड़ी दूर ले गया. थोड़ी दूर ले गया उठा के, फिर हमने बहुत आवाज़ मारी, उसने हाथ जोड़ रखे थे, वो लेट गया था नीचे।
अच्छा, आप बड़ी महत्वपूर्ण बात बता रहे थे कि जिस दौरान आप लोगों ने देखा था बाघ को पकड़े हुए उस शख्स को अपने जबड़े में,
ऑफ कोर्स
आप लोगों ने जो गार्ड खड़ा था उसको बोला था कि बंदूक चलाओ, कुछ ऐसी कोशिश करो कि बचा लिया जाए।
हमने बोला भी था, तो गार्ड कह रहा था कि ऐसा है आप लोग बाहर जाओ, हम जो करना है वो कर लेंगे। मतलब गार्ड का कोई वो नहीं था कि हेल्प करे वो किसी और की, मतलब आप जैसे कोई आदमी मर रहा है तो उसको ये नहीं है कि वो बचाएं, मतलब उनका जो शेर था वो ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट था, कोई बाघ कोई वो नहीं था उनके लिए। मतलब जो आदमी था ना वो कोई कुछ नहीं था उनके लिए, वो बाघ था ना वो ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट था, क्योंकि चिड़ियाघर में बाघ के अलावा क्या देखेंगे, इसलिए वो बचा नहीं रहे थे, बस हल्ला मचा रहे थे और उसमें कंकड़ी भी मार रहे थे, मतलब उसको और क्रोध गुस्सा दिला रहे थे कि यही था और कुछ नहीं था वहाँ पे।
सर आप बताओ कि आपने क्या देखा?
10-15 मिनट तक वो जिंदा भी रहा और उसके बाद कुछ नहीं हो पाया, उसको उसकी गर्दन पकड़ ली बाघ ने, फिर उसको मार दिया गया, बाघ ने मार दिया।
श्वेता, दिल्ली आज तक पे चश्मदीद मौजूद है, उन्होंने जिस तरीके से बताया।
Right, Upasana, let's just come back to you. We were in fact discussing that, you know, there's no medical service also present at the Delhi Zoo for things like this. These kind of incidents should actually be kept in mind, that it actually could happen and they should have immediate medical attention. But like you were telling me, there's nothing there present.
Yes, and I think when you are dealing with wildlife animals, if you are bringing in wildlife animals, there are a lot of do's and don'ts that you have to keep in mind. And also, I think that when you are when such incident has happened, there has to be some ambulance, some PCR, some security guards, you know, who should be there within seconds to control the situation. But they were not there. As per the eyewitness, there were local guards, you know, who could not control anything because they don't have any weapons, they don't have any injections, they cannot control the wildlife tiger. So what if the tiger, he manages to escape from the cage? That means the Delhi Zoo is completely helpless. Today it has happened with one victim. In future, if the wildlife animals, they somehow manage to escape outside the cage, then their life is at risk because nobody can spare them.
Right, let's just listen into this reaction once again.
वो वहाँ पे खड़ा हुआ था, वहाँ पे खड़ा हुआ था सर, इतना जैसे हमारी नज़र वो कहीं और पे गई, इतने तो गिर गया सर, और गिरते ही वो शेर उसके पास आ गया।
आधे ज़्यादा शरीर बैलेंस नहीं था, आधे बैलेंस
बना कर आता, मतलब ऐसे ही।
हेलो,
Right, in fact, we will try and get to that reaction in just a moment. But Upasana, you were talking about the kind of medical attention, or more importantly, the lack of medical attention that is at the Delhi Zoo.
Yes, because see, when you are dealing with wildlife animals, I think there should be certain points that you have to keep in mind while you are dealing with wildlife animals. There need to be wildlife experts dealing with the wildlife animals. But in Delhi Zoo, all the wildlife animals are managed by local guards, the local people who have been employed by the Delhi Zoo. They feed them, they take care of them, and they are the ones who are deployed outside each and every cage. So, you know, just take a hypothetical situation that what if the wildlife animals, they manage to escape out of the cage in ABC circumstance. So in that case, there is no guard, there is no security which can handle the wildlife animal. There is nobody who can make hold of them. There is nobody who can inject them. There is nobody who can control them. So this is I think this is absurd. I'm very shocked that this has happened in Delhi.
The white tiger, in fact, killing a boy in the Delhi Zoo. It's shocking information and extremely tragic. These chilling images that you can in fact see on your screen. A child tried to climb up the enclosure, he slipped and fell, and that's when the white tiger in fact attacked.